All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 439 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk about Ball State football. We're going to talk about Ball State. What are we going to be looking forward to once we play this team? They're coming down to Paulson, and we're going to compete with them. Hopefully, get back into the winning ways after losing the UAB. There's already been kind of rumblings of saying that we cannot take this team lightly, and I echo those rumblings. I don't think that we should take any team lightly that we play against. Ball State has someone on their team that is an Achilles heel to Georgia Southern, and we're going to have to find a way to make some stops. We're going to have to find a way to make some tackles, and if we can do that, I think we should be okay. So we're going to talk about that and everything under that umbrella. If this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. You can find me on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And I want to thank you guys for the uptick in listenership over there on the podcast side of things. We're growing over there, and we're growing over there fairly fast. Almost getting to over. And I know this may not sound like a lot to most podcasts, but I want you guys to understand this is a one-man show. I do this on my own, and I'm not here to beat my chest, but it is hard work, and it is starting to pay off because you guys, 40, 50, 60, 70 people listening a day over there on the podcast side of things is great. And I know YouTube is a little different, Rumble's a little different because it's more on the viewer side, but people who listen throughout the day, I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are moving this podcast, hopefully by the end of, not say the end of the month or maybe even the middle of, October, we'll be at 100 listeners strong a day. That will be great. Now, I thank you guys for that. So let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep representing Georgia Southern and representing Atlanta Falcons football, and we're going to continue to roll. Now, before I get into the Ball State, I know it looks kind of weird if you're watching me on the podcast side, or not on the podcast, but if you listen to me on the visual side, I am wearing, Chicago Bulls gear. Why is that? Well, the Chicago Bulls is my favorite team. Not going to go too far into this. I am a gamer, and I have NBA 2K23. If you have not picked this game up, buy it. I love this basketball game. It has Michael Jordan on the cover, so I'm representing Michael Jordan today, and the great game I've been on. I've made a video about it on my other gaming channel, so that's why I got this one. But nevertheless, I said enough about that. Let's get into this. Ball State just got finished beating Murray State 31-0. And Murray State is, they're Murray State. Not trying to, downplay any team, but they just was no match for Ball State. Now, mind you, Ball State was no match for the first two games they played. They played against Tennessee, lost to them 59-10, lost to Western Michigan 37-30. All the while, they found a way to make a statement in their first game of the year, their first win of the year, winning 31-0. Now, one thing I said earlier, they are Achilles heel to playing football this year for Georgia Southern is the running game. The running game has been eating us alive, not because we can't necessarily stop the run. We just cannot tackle. Now, there's one thing saying you can't stop the run, and I know this is I guess it's nuance and some type of play on words. It's one thing that you can't stop the run where you just can't, keep up with anybody, or you can't find a way to get your hands on the running back. And that's pretty much, you can't stop the run. You're getting pushed around. No, Georgia Southern is getting to where they need to get when it comes to getting at the ball carrier. They just cannot tackle. And we're going to have to tackle when it comes to playing against Ball State, because I don't know if they necessarily predicate on the run, but they got a pretty good running back that they have, and he's looking pretty good. Freshman, well, he's a sophomore, and I thought he was a freshman. Sophomore running back Carson Steele, 6'1", 215. He looks like, he's about the size of Jalen White, and he's running, just as tough, as the guy that we played against at UAB. UAB, I can't remember his name. I try to forget the losses that we have. But the running back for UAB had almost 200 plus yards on us. The last game that, Carson still played, he ran for 141 on 25 carries, 5.6 yards a run. And when he played against Western Michigan, he had 26 carries for 131. So, but best believe they're going to try to lean on what Carson still can do because of the fact there's game plan on us already. There's game plan on us already. They know that we struggle against the run. So what we're going to need to do, and I know Todd Bradley Glenn is not going to be playing with his dislocated shoulder. I don't think he's going to play, this Saturday. Somebody or a gang of people going to have to step up, get some gap assignments, gap integrity. You're going to have to get at this kid and make sure he doesn't run all over us. If that happens, it could be a possibility that what happened last week could happen again. Now, I will say, I don't think their defense, per se, is all that. I think we're going to be able to move the ball a lot better. One thing Kyle Vantrease is going to have to do, and I don't want to knock him because he's done great things so far. The UAB game is a little different animal because of the way they play defense. I don't know what kind of defense Ball State necessarily plays, but from what I've seen, they could be had in the passing game. And with that being said, we need to take advantage of that. Kyle Vantrease need to find the open guys and let these guys be playmakers, because we have plenty of receivers that could be playmakers, from the Derwin Burgess to the Caleb Hoods to the Jeremy Singletons, to the Amari Joneses, AJ McCaffrey, Bo Johnson. We have like 4, 5, 6 guys who can make things happen. And I'm still not ruling out Marcus Sanders. I think Marcus Sanders could be really nice, if he's called upon. So we have enough guys out here to stretch this Ball State defense, and if we can stretch them out enough, Jalen White, Gerald Green should be able to do some things. This is almost like similar to the Nebraska game, but I don't think the quarterback they have is just as talented as Casey Thompson. But this quarterback that they have can make some plays. He can do some things if need be. So let's talk about him really, really, really quick. If I can get to him real fast, I'm going to get to him. Sorry, I don't have it all pulled up right away. But their quarterback looks like he can play pretty good. Paddock, I think that's his name. John Paddock, number 5. He actually put up some okay numbers so far. 77 for 127, 787, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, this could be a situation where, like I said, we're probably playing the Nebraska team with the UAB quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The UAB quarterback was very pedestrian playing against us. Everything was predicated on the run, but with the running game that they have, it looks like the UAB running game. It looks like it's going to be somewhat like the UAB running game look, I think I just said that backwards. We're probably looking at a team that's similar to UAB, to be honest with you. Because the quarterback for UAB was pedestrian, but they had a bell cow for a running back, and same thing with, with Ball State right now. So we're probably getting a carbon copy of what we just saw without the defense. The defense is not as... I don't think the defense is not as stout. I don't think they are. So with them giving up so much throughout the season so far, they may be in a situation where we could get them and probably do some things against them. Right now they're allowing 32 points a game, which is, that bodes well for us because we averaging 41.7 a game. They're giving up 265 yards passing and 156 yards. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I'm reading the wrong thing. They're allowing 216 yards passing and 170 yards rushing. Now, mind you, they just played a couple of teams that really didn't move the ball that much on them, especially with Murray State. So those numbers could be going down a little bit. Now, for us, we're actually doing pretty good in the passing game. We're allowing less than 175 a game with 173. The running game is what's killing us. We're giving up 239 yards a game. That needs to change. We don't need them to get anywhere close to that. You know what I mean? So with us averaging 326 yards passing, we should be able to move the ball against these guys. We should be. We're a 10-point favorite as well, so we should be able to do something against this team. I'm looking forward to see what type of matchups do we have. Later on down the week, I'm going to touch more into what type of defense they actually have, because the main thing is the running game. I am looking at this running game, and Steele right now is up to 300 yards already in 3 games. So he's averaging over 100 yards a game. So we're going to have to hone in on that. And as far as receiving goes, Jackson for Ball State, 18 catches for 209, 1 touchdown. Very similar to Caleb Hood is our leading receiver, 19 receptions for 208 and 1 touchdown. So Hood has 1 more catch than him, but 1 less yard. So it's not too much to really bank on that. Our main thing is we need to figure out a way. We need to figure out a way to get these guys on the ground, especially in the running game. We're going to have to. This is something that if we're not able to do that, it's going to be a long day for us. But that's just one side of it. I wanted to look into, Ball State really quick and actually, give you a small preview of what they have, because later on this year, not later on this year, but later on this week, we're going to dive into more of this. Now, I want to look at this before I go. I think I'm almost certain Kyle Van Treese have played this team before. I want to go back and look and see. I think he played this team last year, very similar to him playing Nebraska last year. Let me see. Was this last year? I don't think this was, because it looked like Kyle Van Treese was not on this team last year. So that's what I'm looking at here. Buffalo lost to Ball State 20-3. And I don't see anything out here that suggests that he played. I thought he would have, but no, it was a quarterback named Myers. So, well, nevertheless, I thought it was the case because it seemed like he did play, but he did not. Nevertheless, I don't know. Before I close, I want to say this. Georgia Southern has a chance to go into conference play at 3-1, which is really good. I think it's something nobody really looked into or ever thought, even thought that this was going to be the case. Looking at where this team play and the way what this team is and the way they play football right now is something to be excited about. I think the only thing we have to do, is like the tackle. If we can tackle a little bit better, get a few stops every now and then, well, stops when they matter, but I like to get a stop every time, but that's not realistic. If we could get a stop every time when it matters, we could be a force to be reckoned with in the Sun Belt. I don't think the Sun Belt has a defense as good as what we saw at UAB. I think that's probably the best defense we saw all season. Maybe James Madison comes to mind. I'm not a fan of Appalachian State's defense, and Marshall defense, maybe Marshall defense as well. But the rest of these teams, they may have, average to slightly above average defenses, and that's not going to cut it when we're running this type of offense. So we should be able to be very successful throughout the rest of the season. I'm glad that we did get to see what, I'm glad that we was able to see what UAB had to offer, because it is a learning experience. Maybe we get better off of that. Maybe we'll learn how to adjust and adapt. Maybe we'll be able to overcome when we see a defense like that again. But just my personal opinion, I don't see anyone in the Sun Belt is going to run a defense like UAB. UAB was a very good defense, and that was one of my picks for us to lose this season, and it played out the way it was. I was more afraid of that last game than the Nebraska game. And now we're going to go up against Ball State, where we're going to have to try to stop the run again. And if we can stop the run, we have a very good chance of winning this game. So we're going to see how all that plays out, see how that goes. I'll come back in the later on in the week with an update or more in-depth look into Ball State when we start looking more at the guys on defense and some matchups or whatever the case may be. Because I'm going to look at a few Ball State, clips, games that they had already this year. And I'm going to, really look at what they do. So that's going to be pretty decent. And hopefully you guys will stick around and, give me some feedback and let me know what you guys think about all of this, because I really appreciate you guys watching and listening. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hey man, episode 439, we're moving right along, And it's all thanks to you guys. You guys are amazing. Try to keep these podcasts between 15 and 20 minutes because I know you guys are busy and going throughout your day. So hopefully you are enjoying the episodes. Let me know what you think. I am on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Also on YouTube and Rumble. All the links down in the description if you want to help support the podcast in any way. Share this, send it to other people, let people know what we're doing over here. There's also a Patreon where you can listen to an extra episode I do every week on Patreon. And if you want that extra content, it's there for you for a monthly fee. It's a very small fee, no more than, a couple of, maybe even a really good cup of Starbucks. For a whole month, you get extra episodes for the show. So hopefully you guys will check all that out. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you guys then. All right, y'all. Take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.